Yo, what up, my people? What's up? What's up? What's up? Good afternoon, my peeps. Happy Sunday. Yes, sir. It's Sunday, April 13th. And I want to thank my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ because with Him, all things is possible. There's no Duck Zone episode is sponsored by Vision Sports Management. Follow my brother John Boy Belton on Facebook and Instagram, and my brother Shannon Brown, Matchbout. Follow him on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. What's going on, y'all? Peace and blessings and safe travels to everybody out there moving on this Sunday, man. You're going to church, you're going out to eat, might be going to a wedding, a baby shower, wherever you're going, man. Safe travels out there. Hope everybody's feeling blessed. I hope everybody's feeling appreciated. I hope everybody's feeling thankful for seeing another day. Top of the afternoon, I should say, not top of the morning. But good afternoon, y'all. What's up? Of course, some certain Sundays you can catch me. Saturdays and Sundays wasn't really the days to go live, but I figured won't be no boxing talk tomorrow. I got something I'm doing tomorrow night, Monday night, so got to get the boxing talk out the way today. Something great happened last night. We gonna get into it. We had a great. We seen something great happen last night that a lot of y'all can't identify because y'all don't know greatness when you see it, but it's okay. We're gonna get into it. Got my brother underrated with me, so let's get into it, all right? So for my newcomers, my regulars, everyone, welcome to the No Duck Zone podcast. Let's go. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe, and tell a friend to tell a friend. This is where it goes down at No Duck Zone podcast. Underrated, I see you. Miss Fields, I see you. Underrated, what up, my brother?
What's going on? What's going on, my
Oh man, ain't nothing,
Bronx
man. I said let
fan?
me get this. I said let me get this boxing talk on today, cause tomorrow, we doing the Monday Night Wars tomorrow, so ain't gonna be no boxing
Oh,
talk.
damn.
Yeah, yeah. 8 p.m. is going down Monday night. The Monday Night Wars isn't. Those were nasty,
Mm-hmm.
but
Yeah.
it's necessary to do it though, man. It's great. So first of all, how are you feeling, brother? Underrated.
I feel better. I had a little
Okay.
headache, but I feel better and everything.
Well, it's Sunday, so I'm not gonna take up too much of your time. I can't take up too much of my time. But we just gonna go in here. We gonna do what we do. Ain't nobody trying to sit up here 2 hours, 3 hours. We just gonna do what we do.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know if you saw it last night, or seen the highlights. Because
I
I was
see.
at
I
the
seen. I
game.
seen most of the fight. I did see most of the fight.
First of all, hold on. Shout outs to the fam. My brother Ronnie Love, my brother Rod Millie, and Miss Tiffany last night. We had a great
Yeah.
show last night. We was in Columbia University. It was
Uh,
special. It was special. Um, you know what? When you place yourself in places, man, you just be amazed with the places you'll end up at that you never thought you'll end up at before. God is good all the time, and I'm going to be talking about something tomorrow. The word of the day tomorrow morning is going to be season. That's going to be the
yeah.
word of the day, season tomorrow. So y'all join me not at 8:30. I know I told everybody 8:30, right? That's only because of what I was doing with my missus.
Right.
Um, blessings to you in the chat. We'll definitely watch the replay. Yeah. So but 7:30 tomorrow, y'all. Only because of I thought school is going to be out this week, so times have changed because of the Easter vacation. So 7:30, I'll be right back at it tomorrow morning. The word of the day tomorrow morning will be season, and we're gonna get into that. But so yesterday, man, damn underrated. This damn Jaron Bruce in this man.
I mean, yeah.
Damn,
I mean, like,
damn
and
Philly dudes.
The Philly dudes, man,
Damn it.
they nothing to play with.
Damn it. That damn Jaron Bruce Ennis, man.
you know, um, and you know what? Tomorrow, before you go on 8 o'clock tomorrow up there, I want to talk more. Well, I want to talk more about the fight, but I was on IG a few minutes ago, and I did a underrated boxing commentary. I want you to check that out. But
Oh yeah,
but
I'll go back and check that out because I'm just getting out of church. So yeah,
no, no worry,
yeah,
no worry.
I'll go back and glance at that.
Yeah. So,
Yep.
but that boost, man. I mean, we talk about that. If he could, I said if he could take his punch. I mean, boost. I'm just saying that the dominant fight. Now, this is what I'm saying that I'm saying certain things when I say to my commentary. If you miss, go on my IG, so y'all go back watch. But now Barrio, so you know, gotta step up now. You want the belts? Gotta go through boost, but if not, he on 154. But the last night was dominant. I mean, like it impressed me. I mean, he just make things easy, and it's not. And then and what's so scary about, bro? Right?
Yeah,
You got fighters that could fight both stances, and then like the other stances, the one stances they do it better, but it just both.
yeah,
Flavor both, and then you don't find that many fights like that in these days. Could turn it on or offense or defense of either stance, and that really impressed about always about Boost Ennis to me. And I'm like, but he just make it. I mean tomorrow. I mean, I don't know what this. I'm looking
that,
at the fight. It's like I want to see a knockout. I ain't gonna lie. As a real boxing fan, I want to see him finish. But at the sixth round, they did the right thing because they would have
is
been worse.
put belt to ass. When you talk about putting belt to ass, that was, and I get and shout outs to Stanionis who put up a little. He tried to put up a little fight. He tried. That ass woman almost kind of reminded me of him, and it kind of reminded me of Oturo Gotti and Floyd. The only difference is Stanionis got to get a little bit of his shit off last night. Tried. He caught Boots with a couple punches. We ain't gonna act like he didn't catch Boots with anything
So
because
the catch was in it, but it didn't hurt Boots.
but it didn't phase Boots,
No.
right? And I'm not gonna lie, and this is not to take nothing away from Stadiotis, but I was thinking in my mind, okay, this is going to be a big ass test for Boots,
Mm-hmm.
and it's gonna be this. This can. Some people had it where Boots might get him out of their eighth, ninth round. Some people had it where it might go to the scorecard. Well, damn it, if I could have thought that Boots would get him out of there in the sixth round underrated, I would have bet some money on it.
Yeah, because I said I had it in 10 rounds. I
Yeah,
did. I had it in 10 rounds because the stamina of Bruce Ennis. As
yeah,
we watch Bruce Ennis, and I always say this, brother. You know me for a long time.
yeah,
What I said, what I said, what impressed me about a fighter when you can go on those later rounds and still have the stamina. That's what I'm looking for, and it seems like it was a second gear. If you notice, after that fifth round, it was that
yeah,
second gear was coming, and Stan only is he threw everything he had, but like you said, it was not fade him, and then it was like it was a matter of time. It was a matter of time because, and also what impressed me about Boost is he went to the body.
yeah. He was beating that body up in I think the first two rounds, first two three
Yeah,
rounds, he started beating that body up, and it slowly started taking a effect on him. And I saw it. I would see it. But once he started tattooing his face and all, like catching him, with the jab, because Boots went in there. Really, he went in there and made Stanionis look average.
Mhm.
he was
And
having too much fun.
Staniois, he's a good fighter now, y'all.
Oh yeah, I'm not taking nothing away from him. I don't need
I mean,
nobody saying, "Oh," because you know when these guys get their first loss, the first thing the public want to do, these dudes that think they know boxing that don't know shit. Oh well, Stanionis is not who we think he is. I guarantee you, whoever else you like at 47, let's see them take on Stanionis. And
yeah,
when you take on guys like Boots, when you take on guys like Tank, when you take on guys like Benavides, what it is right. It's this pattern where, well, I don't want to say pattern, but it is a pattern with different fighters that they make you better than what you were before you stepped in the ring with them, or after I should say, after you step in the ring, because you'll learn from it. You know what I mean? This is one loss for Stanionis. That doesn't mean because he lost this one fight, everybody's going to be able to kick his ass. But
true.
um, I kind of seen almost like a little Roy Jones in him last night. As far as Boots, like the way he was just, I mean, Boots was just clowning. He was clowning. And I said, yo, this dude is really having fun, but he stayed focused because I think what I forgot what round. If it was it maybe the third or fourth round, maybe the fifth round. Might have been one of those rounds where he was trying to time Boots. He was trying to time him because you know if somebody can get your timing down, then it felt like okay, all I gotta do is catch his timing, and I got him, but it still didn't work. Um, Boots wasn't standing there to get hit. It just he got hit with a couple shots that people might have felt like he shouldn't have got hit with. But at the end of the day, right? Let me tell you why Boots won this. Not because just because he was the better man. Every time Boots is in a fight, right? If we think that he should stop the guy, knock the guy out, or like last night, made a guy quit in the corner, we criticized him on it. And after that, if you look at my live, I went and said, excuse me, not my live, but after the fight, I went and said, right, you know, congratulations to Boots, and it's a damn shame y'all gonna find something to complain about. Y'all gonna find something to complain about. Because now it's, oh, I bet you he can't do that to Brian Norman Jr., huh? I bet you he can't go to 54 and do that to Sebastian Findora. I bet you he wouldn't do it to Xander Zayas. I bet you he couldn't do it to Tim Zul. Like, what are we talking about? These are the idiots that we be talking about, that just be talking. What he did was amazing.
Yeah.
It was great. But I'm not going to lie to you, underrated. I was already going for Boots, but I also was giving Stanionis his flowers because Stanionis comes to fight.
Yes.
And at this time, not making excuses for him, here it is, his wife, his girlfriend or whatever is pregnant. They weren't too far from having the baby. It could have happened at any moment. I'm not saying, oh, he went in there with all that on his mind, and that's what got him the loss. But it's a lot going on. But either way you look at it, Boots was the better guy, and he proved it. And for all the naysayers and all the people who always have something to say about him, all you complaining ass, whining ass people that think it's always necessary to complain, what are you gonna say now? What are you gonna say now? So I was happy with it. Now the thing is everybody's like, okay, so bring on Brian Norman Jr., bring him on next. Well, we're gonna see. He made a big statement. He made a big statement last night. I was happy with it. I'm looking forward to seeing where he goes from there. But
Yeah.
shout outs to shout outs to Stanionis and congratulations to him about to have a baby and you know, we'll see what
Yes.
happens. We had a great, you know, so far it's the fourth month of the new year. If we've been getting a lot of good damn fights.
And the undercard is impeccable. We gotta say that.
Yeah, I didn't watch now. See, last night I didn't watch because I was already out and about. So when I got
Right.
home, um Ray my man Savage was fighting. which I have to go back and watch his because I caught his fight in the ninth round. But he looked like he had been doing his thing. From looking at his opponent, he had busted him up. So I'll have to go back and watch those other what's that? The other 8 rounds, I guess I could say that I didn't see. I'm gonna go back and but shouts to Jaron Businis. Now the thing is, 47, and we spoke about this on the other live when we was talking about this fight, how 47 was so interesting. Now that um you have Devin Haney moving, he's already there. You have Ryan Garcia there. Um, you have the guy Devin's fighting May 2nd. He's already there. A couple of guys are gonna be moving up. Now, somebody said, I asked somebody, who do you think that he should fight? People's like T.O. And I'm like, T.O. going to 47? You know what? Let's see. He's barely giving us fights at 40.
But
Barely.
I would
Barely.
say I would say this though, and I know that people keep on saying throw this out. Oh yeah, Boost Ennis unify the titles, and I have to say no. To me, unify when you have all the belts.
Yeah.
I said for me, I want him to get that WBC. Leave the after you did that, then go on 54. That's what I want to see. I want him to get
Um,
that. So
yeah. I think if the Brian Norman Sr. fight, Brian Norman Sr., I'm tripping. If the Brian Norman Jr. fight doesn't happen, um, I don't know what could we see after that because to even I'm gonna keep it real to see Ryan Garcia or Devin Haney or Tiafimo against Boots.
yeah.
How realistic is that? I don't think that happens. At least I don't know this year, and I don't know how much longer. This is the number one question that I would like to know, and you can help me out with this underrated. Is how much longer could Boots keep making 47? Boots is he's a big guy that could walk around
Yeah.
maybe at 170 pounds, maybe 175. Hell, I don't know. Maybe 180. I don't know. I'm just taking a wild guess. So it's like how long could he keep entertaining making 47? Not
Well,
entertaining 47 as far as the opponents, because we seen these guys like Devin Haney and a lot of other guys, they step on these scales, they look like skeletons, and then they realize they can't make the weight anymore. We heard Rolly Romero say that, hey, I just can't make it anymore. I can't make 40 no more. When he realized at 35 he couldn't make it anymore, let me go up to 40. Now they realize at 40 they can't make it because you got to remember these guys are still young. They're in their 20s,
right,
and they're just a lot of them. Some of them are just coming into their strength, their man strength. So my
right.
question is to Boots is how much longer can you, in your opinion, not nobody else's, but in your opinion, how much longer could you think he can make 47?
Well, well, if you remember, brother, I said this almost 2 years ago. Back then, I gave Boost Ennis a year or two to
Yeah,
be in that weight class to move up. So I said for me, if that fight don't happen at the WBC, go to 154.
yeah, yeah. Um, and the thing is, to me, and I could be wrong, 47 is talented, but damn, that 54 is different.
Very different.
It's very different. With Tim Zoo back in the mix, you still
Mm-hmm.
have now you have Thurman back,
Right back up.
still in touch. You got Thurman back. Um, you have Xander. You have Sebastian Vendora, who's the biggest threat at 54. You have so many other guys here at 54 where it's like, it wouldn't be an issue with Boots. And we're not living in that no longer what fighters on what side of the street. Now we have promoters working together. You got Turkey putting his hat into it. Um, to me, I feel like, hey, if the because after Brian Norman Jr., like I said, right, if that fight happens, and if it don't happen, people will make up some type of excuse of why it didn't happen, or somebody ducked, or the paperwork wasn't right, whatever the case may be. Um, Now we're in April. Boost has it where he has enough time. He can come back one more time this year if he wants to. He can come back one more time because we're only in April.
Right.
Sometime towards the end of the year, how realistic do you think it is that we could see Brian Norman Jr. in boots?
I said, all right, May, June, July, August, September, October. I said November, November, December.
Yeah,
That's how I would say November or December, and I'm going to repeat it again. I'm gonna say hopefully God's willing. I'm gonna do some of the underrated boxing talk tomorrow. So check that out. I'm gonna
yeah.
say it again. I'll say it again this time too. If that fight does not happen in the wintertime, Boost, we ain't trying to tell you what to do. Go to 154 because you already did. I mean, you're dominating the welterweight already.
Well, this is my thing, right? And I don't care if nobody agrees with what I'm saying or not. When he was there, no matter who his opponents were or what you thought of him, there was two things that I seen that was clear to me. That Earl Spence wasn't going that route, and neither was Crawford.
That's
Rather if people
facts.
thought that rather if people thought that Boost was ready for that or not, we always discourage a fighter by saying who they ready for or not. And a lot of times these fighters have proved you wrong. Even if they lost, they proved you wrong. Just because I lost, that doesn't mean I didn't belong in there. It's just that the other guy was better than me. Huh? We seen David Morrell get in there with David Benavidez, and if you looked at the end of the fight, even though David did what he did, you would have thought that David lost. If you looked at his face compared to Morrell's face, we seen Tank Davis get in there with Lamar Rocha. We discredit Lamar Rocha about his opponents, but he clearly went in there and did what he did. So we have seen it, but it showed you. So even if Devin Haney comes to 40, he's 47, and all everybody else is figuring they want to be at. I think Josh Taylor's at 47, but he would never probably take no fight with no boots, so that's out the question. You got Mario Barrios is at 47. They ain't trying to knock on Boots' door.
And they consider him a WBC champion.
They ain't trying to, no disrespect to Mario Barrios, but he ain't trying to knock on that door. Think they trying to knock on a, they ain't trying to do that. Because if it
And
did,
that
it would have happened already.
and it goes
So,
more. I mean, like, come on. I mean, like, go
yeah,
more on my point again. Is when I said a minute ago, if Norman and this, I gotta repeat this again. If this don't happen, we know the other fights ain't trying to see Ennis. We know that. I know that. Like you said, Crawford and Spence. Don't get me wrong. I've been saying this too. I'm not echoing the same thing too, brother McLean.
yeah,
They don't want to have no parts of Ennis. We seen this, brother. We talk about this. We even talk about this on when I was doing the underrated boxing talk. They was
yeah.
not trying. They was not trying to see Ennis.
No, no,
They
no.
wasn't.
And I'm not trying to make it seem like I'm D riding.
No, it's
I'm
not
not.
like that. But these are facts.
We making it make sense. And then another name I didn't get to mention too was Virgil Ortiz at 54. Now
Right.
we've been screaming and hollering to see him in boots.
At
And
147.
no, well, it didn't happen at 47. Now Ortiz is at 54. Let's
Right.
go. Because one thing we don't want to happen is for by the time we look up and Ortiz, who is still young, we look up and now he's at 60. Or they're finding ways to not fight boots. We don't want that to happen. Because like I said, 47 is interesting, but that 54 is built a little different.
Very different.
It's different. And there's a lot of guys at 47 that's just getting to 47. We gotta see how they handle it. We gotta see how they handle it, man. And Boots is the biggest threat. The biggest threat. So a lot of those guys at 47, they're not going to 54. For some of them, 47 going to be their limit because the competition gets much different. It gets different. And right now, whether you like it or not, Sebastian Vendora, the Towering Inferno, is the biggest threat. The biggest threat. I would say out of Tim Tszyu and Virgil Ortiz, those two come next. And of course, you got Xander Zayas, even though people feel like he has more to prove, but you still have to put him in the mix of that because he's probably the youngest one out of all of them. Well, I think he's 22, 23, something like that. So when you look at it, it's a lot. It's a lot. I mean, hey, underrated, check this out, right? Check this. I want you to check this out. So say we don't entertain it. Can you imagine what a Jaron Bruce Ennis or a Tim Tszyu would be? You know, or what would a Jaron Bruce Ennis and Sebastian Findor fight be like? Different. That's the kind of fights that I think about. I think about fights like that. When I think about fights like that, the first thing I say is, damn, see Boots versus Sebastian Findor, but I try not to think ahead of time. I'm just thinking. My brother D Free's here, and I'm glad he's here. Good morning. Oh, excuse me. Good afternoon, brother Free. Um, Free.
Yeah,
Welcome. I know you saw last night. We were just rapping about that. Give me your thoughts on last night, because that was a homicide.
yeah. Well, shout out to uh underrated my man
Shout out to
Clarence,
you, my brother.
my man Clarence Vampire from Brooklyn.
This
Uh,
dude, B.
I mean that's what
God.
you sound like. You actually sound like Eddie Murphy on the Golden Child. My dear sweet brother Nuncy.
You know what,
Um,
man? This guy, I don't got time
but
for you. I don't have
nah,
time. I don't have time for your shit this afternoon, Free.
hey, um, the man Boots went out there and made a statement. Um, I mean, he saw everything that Brian Norman Sr. and Jr. had said about him. We had him on the show. He saw what Brian Norman Jr. did last weekend, and he said, "You know what? You want to go out there and stop somebody that has never been stopped before? Let me do you one better. I'm gonna go out here and make a person that never has been stopped before. I'm gonna make him quit on a stool. Not
Mm-hmm.
only did I make somebody quit on a stool that's never been stopped before, but this guy was a champion, and I took his belt and became a unified champion as well as the Ring Magazine champion. So, bro, I mean, I said in my prediction, I said Boots can make this fight a very easy fight, or he can make it a hard fight. If Boots come out there and fight his style, Boots will beat this guy very easy. I said if Boots sat there and just tried to stay in front of Stanionis and trade with him, he's going to make it a long night. Um, but I had also said that I believe that Stanionis was tailor made for Jaron Boots Ennis. I said this, I think it was last week or the week before when people asked about this fight. And I said, I think Stanionis is tailor made for Jaron Boots Ennis. He comes
Mm.
forward, he got a decent jab. What you say?
I said, yeah. I was trying not to say it, but then when I looked at it, I'm like, yeah, he might have been tailor-made for old Boots, man. And but
Yeah.
this is why I didn't want people not saying you're doing it. This is why I told people yesterday. I said, rather if he was tailor-made or not, don't discredit Boots, because at the end of the day, I give Stanley on his props though, because he came to fight. It's not like he came to lay down. He, he
No.
he tried. He tried his best, but he
He
just
was
wasn't on the. It's levels to this.
yeah, he was outgunned. And it takes nothing away from Stanionis. Stanionis still gives a lot of people problems. Stanionis
Yes.
still, in my opinion, is the second or third best guy at welterweight. I still
Yes.
don't. I still think he beats majority of the people at welterweight. There's not a guarantee that Brian Norman Jr. can beat him. there's not a guarantee that Mario Barrio could beat him. In fact, I think
Yeah.
he beats Mario Barrio right now, even after the performance that I saw last night. I still think he beats Mario Barrio.
But not only that, the new guys that came to the division, no disrespect to Devin. I look at Devin and I look at everybody else that came to 47. I said, shit, some of y'all, man, he'll probably put you on your bike. Stanionis he's different.
Yeah, I
He's
still
different.
think yeah, he still beats a lot of those guys. But the thing is, we was talking about this on Friday night. I was on my way to work, and we was coming up with our predictions. We was on our show, BBO show, and the guys was saying they were saying, oh, Stanionis, he got a better resume than Jaron Boots Ennis. He got this, he got that. Jaron Boots Ennis ain't really fight nobody. And I said, y'all know what? I said, I already gave y'all my prediction. I predicted Jaron Ennis would win by unanimous decision. He proved me wrong in that, and I'm not mad at it. But I was like, y'all know what? Because I'm sitting here listening to everybody go back and forth for what Jaron didn't do, what he did do, what Stanionis didn't do, what Stanionis has done. And I'm like, I said, hey, can I say something, y'all? And they was like, what you want to say? I said, y'all remember when we were talking about Earl Spence and Bud Crawford, and we said Earl had the better resume and Bud ain't really beat nobody. His resume was trash. I said, it sounds very eerie similar to what we're saying right now about Jaron Ennis and Stanionis. They were like, oh, well, Jaron Ennis ain't no Bud Crawford. The thing is, Jaron Ennis really hasn't fought anybody. I was like, I'm just saying, it just sounds very similar. I said, Jaron Ennis might come out there and do the same thing. I'm just saying it sounds very similar. They were like, oh, wow, you crazy. Fast forward to Saturday, everybody was like, yeah, I do remember you saying that, Free. I do remember you saying
Yeah,
that.
and you know what? People just be, I don't know, but
What's going
oh
on,
man, I don't
Miss
know. But the question I want to ask you though, Free, is
Phil?
the same question I just asked my brother Underrated is how much longer, even though we see that he makes it with no problem and he looks good for the weight, how much longer, if this Brian Norman Jr. fight don't happen, how much longer do you see Boots making 47?
Um, I think he can make 47 relatively easy. I think he can make it relatively easy because I know
What up,
everybody said,
Thomas?
oh, everybody said, oh, he looked drained, and Thomas called it too. Thomas said it was going to be a stoppage. He said a late round stop. I think he said ninth round stoppage. And like I said, I told you I said unanimous decision. Thomas was there too when I said that everybody this joint sound very similar to what we were saying about Earl and Bud. Thomas was there. But the thing is, he can make 47 relatively easy. And I know everybody said, oh, but did you see the pictures? He looked drained. I said, yeah, he might have looked drained, but was he really drained? Because what a lot of people didn't mention was he has a nutritionist now. He has a
Oh,
nutritionist.
okay. I didn't know
So
that.
yeah, that's the reason why
Okay.
that could be the reason why he was looking the way he was looking is because his nutritionist has him eating and doing things different so he can make the weight. So I think he can make it. The question is, are those guys willing to get in the ring with him now after they saw what he did to Stanionis? Like I said,
I don't think so.
Thomas also called. He said he believed that Boots was going to go out there and make a statement, and the statement that Boots made last night tops any statement that Brian Norman might have put out there, or anybody else at welterweight. It tops any of that because, like I said, not only did he put down and eventually made quit a guy that's never been down before, but this guy was a champion. This guy, a lot of people said, fought better competition than Jaron Ennis. This guy was what they said, quote unquote, he's really some people was like, oh, I got Brian Norman as number 1 and Staniois as number 2. I was like,
So
what?
where was Boots then? Where was Boots in at number 3?
Yeah, they were saying number 3.
Oh, that's crazy.
I'm
That's
like, what?
crazy.
And shout out to my man BFTB. No slap, no shots at BFTV. I know what he did, and I understand the way he came up, what he came up with. He was going according to the rankings of the guys that they beat, and he had Mario Barrio number 1, Brian Norman number 2, Jaron number 3, and Stanionis number 4, or he might have had Stanionis number 3 and Jaron Ennis number 4. But I know he had Mario Barrio number 1 and Brian Norman number 2. I can't remember which one Stanionis and Jaron is. I think Jaron was number 4. But like I said, according to where he got the reasoning from, it was because of the level of competition, the ranking system. He went by the ranking system. The where they was ranked at, the guys that they beat, and where they should have been ranked at because of the guys that they beat. And according to and the reason why he said Jaron was number 4 was because Jaron was ranked number 4, but he beat a guy that was ranked number 9. Everybody else beat guys that was ranked higher than Jaron Ennis or higher than the guy that Jaron Ennis beat. So that's the reason why he came up with the way he came up with the thing. Okay. And he's a Jaron Ennis fan. He likes Jaron. And like I said, this is no shot to BFTB. I know where he came. The reason why he came up what he came up with, it was because he was going according to the ranking system. But even still, like I said, Jaron Ennis went out there and let it be known to the entire world and the welterweight division, I am the number 1 guy.
So my question to you, Free, if not Brian Norman, then what? Because I can't see anybody else at 47. We see that Mario Barrios is clearly not trying to go that route. He's not trying to go that route. So it's like, who's next?
I don't know. I mean, we're going to see. Like I said, Jaron Ennis just got finished fighting. He's going to take some time off. He's probably not going to fight again until later in the year. It's probably going to be somewhere around the fall, maybe early winter. He's going to have another fight. He's going to want to try to get another fight. So he's probably going to try to negotiate somewhere around September, October.
Yeah,
maybe.
That's what Underrated was saying. Yeah, that I know Eddie said they want to come back to Philly. So I'm sure if he does make a return, it'll be back in Philly.
I don't know if it'll be in Philly or not. I mean, it could be in New York. It could, I mean, who knows? It could be in Atlanta. They might say, hey, Brian Norman, we'll go fight you in your hometown. I mean, who knows? It very well could be in Philly again, too. But so we're gonna see if these guys is going to take the offer, because we heard what Eddie Hearn and Bozy Ennis said. They want Brian Norman. You was talking. Okay, we want to see how bad you really want this fight, because they also put it out there. We offer you 1.7. You ain't getting a better deal than that from nobody else at 147.
They offered him 1.7. Brian Norman.
That was the last.
I'm taking that.
That was the last offer. Well, see, Brian Norman Sr. said they wanted $2 million. But like I said, like they said, you're not going to get $2 million from daggone Mario Barrio. We already know how PBC does things. You're not going to get $2 million from Mario Barrio. Who else you going to get $2 million from?
Yeah, but this is why, as these so-called fans or these people that be on these channels talking, got to understand that, because it'd be like, we don't control what the fighters pay or what they pay the other fighters. It be these fighters and they court, it be their team. If you know what I'm saying, if a man ain't taking the offer, the first thing we do is we get upset. But he should take the offer, or he should pay him more than that. Like,
and it's not like Brian Norman. I mean, you can say he might have rose his stock a little bit, but You still never headline a card, so we don't know how much money you're actually bringing to the table. You just fought on an undercard of Michaela Mayer and Sandy Ryan. You just fought on the undercard of that.
Yeah.
You was a co-main. So you never got a fight where you made at least $1 million. The fight you just took on that co-main, as that co-main, I think it was somewhere around 400,000. The fight before that, you got paid like 1.7. I mean, I'm sorry, you got paid like 175,000. So if they offer you 1.7, you haven't had an offer bigger than that. So you're gonna have to say, hey, you know what? This is the best offer. And they say, oh, well, we're a champion now. We can go fight this person, that person, that person. But are you going to be guaranteed 1.7? If you're not being guaranteed 1.7, then you go fight somebody else. Because the reason why you said you didn't take the 1.7, you was good with fighting the fight you had, is because that fight was already lined up. Granted, that fight was already lined up. You couldn't go back and redo the contract or whatever. That's fine. I'm not knocking you for that or whatever. That fight was already done before you became a champion. Okay, that fight is over and done with. Now you don't have any fights lined up. So if you can't get a fight better than the deal that they offered you for 1.7, and they say, hey, we already gave you the offer, are you willing to take it? And you saying, nah, I go get a better deal. If you can't get a deal better than 1.7, you're ducking Jaron Ennis.
At this point, yeah, that be clearly what it is. And for an idiot that doesn't understand the business and how it works, will sit there and argue with you for about 3 hours on a panel and saying, "Free, how is that a duck? Free, give the man what he's asking for."
I said for me, what D Free is, brother D Free, he absolutely right. But I still say that if that fight for Norman ain't gonna happen like in the wintertime, I said for me, he goes straight to 154. But I don't think anybody else gonna want any. But the what I seen last night, the welterweight class, they don't want no parts of Bruce Ennis. They don't.
You know the scariest thing about last night? To me, I don't know. Y'all it might not be scary to y'all. Was watching him Staniois and sit in his corner, and before anybody else probably heard it, when his trainer said, "I'm stopping this. I'm stopping this." When I heard that, I said, "Oh shit!" I told Tip, I said, "Yo, they're about to stop it. They're about to stop it." Now he might have wanted to keep fighting, but his trainer was seen enough. Nah, this is it. We stopping this. It was kind of like watching Boo Boo in the corner, and when they stopped that, it was like, damn, man, you never thought you'll see anything like that. Like, oh shit, they're about to stop it. But had they let him go out there for one more round, that would have been his ass. So
And
I'm glad
me and Thomas both said that. I said, I don't know if he knocks him out, but he probably could get the corner to stop it. And Thomas, like I said, Thomas, remember, I said that. I said, I don't know if Boots will knock him out because the man never been down. He's very durable in that. I don't know if he knocks him out, but the corner could very well stop this fight. And sure enough, the corner stopped the fight. They were like, nah, you're not going to be able to win this fight. And I said that. I said, they might say, you might be taking a lot of punishment, and they probably say, you know what, is no way he's going to win this fight.
He doesn't need that because, number one, he was getting ready to have a baby. And I respect his corner. What I don't respect corners is that sit there and watch their fighters take that abuse because they think their fighters still got a chance. So I respect his corner for doing that. I wouldn't respect them if they would have kept letting it go on because let me tell you something. Either the doctor is going to stop it or the ref is going to stop it. So that was it was good that happened, but he made a big statement. But the question of the day is, besides Brian Norman, right? Who the hell is going to want Boots? Who's going to want him now?
I think. See, like the thing is, Mario Barrio. See, everybody said, "Oh, Mario Barrio not going to want to fight him." Mario Barrio this, Mario Barrio that. The one thing that I do know about Mario Barrio, he's never ducked anybody.
No.
If they came to him with an offer, 9 times out of 10, from what I've known from Mario Barrio, he's taken the offer. He haven't ducked anybody. So
Yeah,
I'm not going to say that Mario Barrio won't get in a ring with him. He's been in there with Tank. He's been in there with Keith Thurman. Right after he got stopped by Tank, he got right
that's
in
true.
there at the first fight
That's true.
at welterweight. He fought Keith Thurman. Yeah, Keith Thurman came off a 3-year layoff, but it still was Keith Thurman. It still was a guy that can punch. And
Yeah,
Keith Thurman hurt Mario Barrio in that fight. He hurt him badly in that fight. And
yeah,
Mario Barrio still pushed through that fight and made it 12 rounds. So,
yeah. It would be nice though to see that though. For them to make that happen would be.
I understand that Keith Thurman ain't no boots and Tank ain't no boots, but I'm just talking about the simple fact that this man was in there with two guys who can punch. He didn't
Yeah,
back down. He didn't shy away from neither one of those guys. And remember, at one point, after Keith Thurman had hurt Mario Barrio, at one point, Mario Barrio was pressing on the gas with Keith Thurman. He was coming at Keith Thurman. So
yeah,
I think Mario Barrio still take the fight if they give him a reasonable offer. See, like Mario Barrio is a different situation than Brian Norman. Mario Barrio headlined with Tank Davis on a
yeah.
pay-per-view card. He headlined with Keith Thurman on a pay-per-view card. So you can't go to Mario Barrio with a 1.7 offer. He like, I got better offers when I fought Tank Davis and Keith Thurman. And Keith Thurman came off a 3-year layoff. I got a better
Yeah.
offer with him. What am I getting with you? So they gotta come with a reasonable offer when it comes to Mario Barrio. So I think he'll take that deal.
I'm hoping they do, Free. I'm hoping, to be honest with you, if the Norman doesn't happen, if that does not happen, because it seemed like if the 2 million is what they're asking for, they're not gonna stop, I guess, until they feel like they get what they deserve. But the 1.7 ain't bad. I don't understand. That's not bad.
Yeah, no. I see what
Yeah.
Michael say. I see what Michael say. Yeah, I don't. 1.7 ain't bad, but if you're a fighter who headlined already and you headline with bigger names than Jaron
Yeah.
Ennis, and you made more money than what Jaron Ennis is offering you, you're gonna say, hey, I'm a champion. You want my belt? It's gonna cost you more than 1.7. It's gonna cost you more than 1.7. It's gonna cost you somewhere around 2.5, maybe 3 million.
Okay.
It's gonna cost you somewhere around there because they're not fighting on a pay-per-view. They're getting guaranteed purse.
Okay.
They're getting a guaranteed purse. So they're gonna have to give him. And I mean, granted, when he fought Tank Davis, his guarantee was only, I think, like 1.5 or it might have been like 500,000, but he made more on the back end. With Keith Thurman, I think his guarantee was somewhere around 1.5, but he made more on the back end. So
yeah,
he could say, yeah, that was my guarantee for them because we was fighting on pay-per-view. I got more money on the back end. With you, it's a guaranteed purse. So his negotiation is going to be totally different from Brian Norman's negotiation. Brian Norman really doesn't have a leg to stand on. He got to pretty much take whatever they offer.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Free, too. Correct me if I'm wrong. I believe Barrios, he was part of 2 pay-per-views, maybe 3, but 2 pay-per-views where he was the main event. Was because the Keith Thurman fight I remember watching that. Was that pay-per-view?
Yeah,
that was pay-per-view, wasn't it?
Yep,
The fight with Tank Davis, and then he fought on I think it was Tank Davis undercard. He fought on somebody's undercard that was on pay-per-view. Who was that?
It was Tank Davis. He fought before he fought Tank Davis. He was on Tank Davis's undercard. I think he was the co-main or the fight right before the co-main when Tank Davis had fought
Leo Santa Cruz, right?
Leo Santa Cruz.
It was Leo Santa Cruz.
He had just fought the Leo Santa Cruz fight. And Mario Barrio, I'm not sure if he was the co-main, but he was right before, or if he was right before.
He was somewhere. That's where
But
he
he was
fought
so
the cowboy dude, whatever that fighter name that he fought. Yeah, I remember
yeah,
that dude.
yeah.
Yeah.
He was on that card. So like I said, it's going to be a little bit different with Mario Barria. They gotta come with a respectable number with Mario Barria. Now with Brian Norman, they don't have to give them another offer. They could say, we offered you 1.7. Are you going to take it or not?
Yeah, niggas. That's just how it be. A lot of fighters think they worth something, man. A lot of them be doing that, and then they mess up, and then they ended up suffering for it later, saying, "Oh God, we should have took that fight."
Yeah.
Because
So
my thing is, once Boost decides that he doesn't want to be in 47 anymore, that's gonna be it. So you need to be trying to take advantage of that, man. You know what I mean? Take advantage of that.
yeah, I mean, so like with Brian Norman, is either take the 1.7 or kick rocks. With Mario Barrio, is more so they got to negotiate to come up with a number that's going to be good for both sides. So Mario Barrio is more of a negotiation with Mario Barrio. With Brian Norman, we already gave you the offer. Are you going to take it or not?
Take it or leave it.
We gave you 1.7. Are you going to take it or not? Which one you going to do? Because we're not coming up on a number. You haven't done anything to say we need to come up on a number. Yeah, you defended your title, but you was fighting on the co-main event. We don't know what your numbers are.
That's a big difference.
What's that?
Now I'm agreeing with you. That's a big difference that people fail to understand that.
Yeah.
A lot of these fighters that do that, right? I can't tell a man what he deserves to get it, what he don't deserve to get.
No, I'm not going
What
to tell him that either.
what these fighters got to understand is that when you don't take something when you're supposed to take it, that could just it can mess you up in the long run. You know what I'm saying? Where years later you think about it and you go, "Damn, I should have taken it."
We could give you a perfect example. Shakur Stevenson. Everybody like, he got a bag for Josh Paddy. That was easy work for him. Yeah, he did. He got $2.1 million for Josh Paddy. Easy work. But look at the situation now. And he got 2.1 for easy work with Josh Paddy. But remember what he was offered. Top Rank offered him a 5-fight deal for $15 million. That was $3 million per fight. He could have fought the same Josh Paddy and made made $900,000 more for that fight. Could have fought that same Josh Paddy and got $3 million for that fight with Josh Paddy. He got 2.1, and you was a co-main event. You wasn't even a co-main event. You was the co-main event to the co-main event.
Damn.
Free.
When he was with Top Rank, he was headlining cards. Now you over there with Eddie Hearn, and you're fighting as the co-main event to the co-main event.
Damn, I didn't even think of it like that.
So he's a co-main event.
Yeah, he's the Coco Tina of main events. He's the Coco Tina of main events.
Oh hell no! Hey, underrated. Call your girl because this is some bullshit.
He ain't Coco Tina. Coco Tina will beat him.
Hey, so you trying to say you trying to say he just got signed to Coco Promotions? Is that what you trying to say, Free?
Hey, I'm just saying. Oh, speaking about signing to promotions, did y'all watch Pro Box last night?
Hell no, I wasn't even home. I didn't even get to see it.
I tried to Pro Box, but it was messing up.
Let me tell y'all about Pro Box. First of all, shout out to Stephen Shaw. Shout out to Stephen Shaw. Stephen Shaw has right now knockout of the year. He stopped this man in the first round. I think like a minute into the first round. Knocked this dude out.
I didn't even know he fought last night on there. That's crazy.
He was the co-main event. This dude.
I gotta go back and watch it.
This dude was 6'8" that he fought. Now, granted, Stephen Shaw is 6'6". Granted, he was only 2 inches taller, but this dude was 6'8". The dude that he fought was 18-1. 17 of his 18 wins were by knockout. Stephen Shaw went in there and put this man to sleep early. But that's not the main reason why I brought it up. The main reason why I brought it up was that entire card was put on by No Excuses Promotion. Do y'all know who owns No Excuses Promotion?
I never even heard of them.
I didn't neither, and I did not know that this dude had his own promotional company. Guess who has his own promotion company?
Who?
That was Lamont Roach's promotion.
Man, shut your mouth, D3.
D3.
I lied to you not,
D3. Repeat that again, please.
Yeah, say it again for the people in the back that didn't hear you. That's crazy.
That man put on his own card for Pro Box. That whole card was promoted by No Excuses Promotions. I didn't even know he had his own promotional company.
I didn't know he neither. I didn't know he had it neither. Usually people wait in some time in their career to get it. I didn't know he had one now.
Yeah. And I knew he fought on Pro Box, but I didn't know he had his own promotional company.
I didn't know neither.
His little brother fought in that card too, Jordan Roach.
I mean, that's how you do it. You look out for your brother, put him on the card. That's how you do it. Look out for your family.
His little brother got that was his fourth fight as a pro, and they went the distance, but he got a unanimous decision in that fight.
Hopefully in the DC and the Maryland area, hopefully he'll do something out there though with that, man. That would be dope.
Yeah. I mean, he's putting on a lot of guys. Like majority of those people that fought was from the DMV area. Most of them were from DC, but there was a few.
But that's how you look out for your people. I don't understand why you don't see more fighters do that. But because in all reality, that's what you're supposed to do, man. Because you're gonna have to make some kind of money. Because when this is over, it's over.
Yeah.
You ain't got $1 to your name, boy. You're going to be out there picking up cans on 42nd Street. You better be making some kind of money and investing into something.
Yeah, shout out to Lamar Roach because I didn't even know.
Shout out to Lamar, man. I got to get his
promotion company. But
I'm Facebook friends with his pops, man. I think I'm going to reach out to his pops one day and try to get him up on the show one day, man.
Yo, good looking out for that D3 because...
Yeah, good looking on that D3 because I did not know that.
I was so mad when I found out. Dog, when I found out that they was fighting, I'm thinking it was going to be in DC or whatever. I had to work last night, but if I would have known, dog, they was fighting literally 5 minutes from my house.
What?
They was fighting literally 5 minutes from my house. They was at the daggone Merlin Live casinos. That's 5 minutes from my house.
Didn't if I'm not mistaken, did Keith Cologne fight on that last night? Because I know he was supposed to quit.
Yeah.
Hey, look. Matter of fact, you right. Hold on, I'm bugging. So I looked at a video where Keith Cologne was doing a face-off with his opponent, and Lamar's father was in the middle. But I didn't think nothing of that.
That was his promotion company. They promoted that whole card.
That's crazy. It's all coming back to me now. Because and I talked to Keith's father. When I talked to Keith's father, he was like, "Yeah, we were supposed to fight on but we trying to get on the Pro Box card." And then by the time I talked to him again, he like, "We on the Pro Box card," but he didn't mention nothing about Lamont Senior, so I'm not thinking nothing about it. That's crazy.
I didn't even know that they was having a fight out here until Thomas came on the live the other day and said Keith Cologne is fighting Saturday in DC, but he said DC, so I'm thinking they're fighting in DC. But like I said, if I would have known earlier, I would have took that day off. I would have took last night off and went to the fight because I didn't even know that they was having a fight until Thomas let us know that Keith Cologne was fighting on it, and I was like, "Oh, they having a fight out here." So I started seeing.
He asked me, He asked me, do I think I can make it? I said, no, I can't make it. I can't even make it to the Atlantic City fight. I know I can't make it. If I can't get to Jersey, I know I can't get to DC. I was like, yeah, this is happening. I know I couldn't make that. So shout outs to Lamar Roach. Shout outs to his pops. Shout outs to Keith Cologne. I'm gonna go back and watch it. Know what I'm saying? See, but this is the reason why This is what I love about being a part of the sport. You see why I love it? Because we all put each other on with something that we didn't know, and that's a beautiful thing. That's why I love when we come together. Shout outs to Pro Box. Well, I can't wait to get to a pro. I can't wait to get to a pro boxing, man. I can't wait to get to one because I'm determined to get to pro box. Don't know when it's gonna happen, but that's gonna be on my to-do list. But shouts to everybody who fought last night. Last night was a boxing night. Y'all don't have nothing to complain about. Y'all have nothing to complain about. Know what I'm saying? Boots did his thing. Pro box was great. It was a great night, man.
Yeah.
No, I'm hoping though underrated they'll make that. If it's no Brian Norman Jr., hopefully him and Mario Barris versus Boots would be great. And if they made that in New York, I'm not gonna lie, I'm on it.
Yeah.
I'm on it.
Unify the titles, and after that, hey, after that, Boots, hey, in March, April.
I'm back. I'm back.
Yeah, yeah. When I look at Boots, I just go, okay, what if the Mario Barrios fight don't happen? If the Brian Norman don't happen, what do you decide to do? Which route do you decide to take? Because like we were saying earlier, free before you got on, we was like 54 looking real nasty right now. Everybody talking about 47. I said 47's all right. 47 is cute compared to what 54 looks like right now. I mean, can you imagine in your mind, free, what a Bruce Ennis or Tim Zuger look like, or Bruce Ennis and Sebastian Findora could look like, or him and Ortiz, which we've been wanting to see him and Virgil. That's what I really want to see. I'm not gonna lie to you, free. I'm gonna stop the cat. That's what I really want to see. But I know we have to take one step at a time.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you this. I'm gonna tell you this right now. What I saw last night was the old Jaron Ennis that we used to seeing. That's what I saw last night.
And he had a lot of fun last night. He
And,
wasn't just boxing. He enjoyed himself.
that Jaron Ennis that we saw last night was the same Jaron Ennis that made Virgil Ortiz camp said they need 48 months before they fight him.
Stop! Don't do that. I was trying to forget that. I was trying to forget that.
And that's not what I said. That's what they said. Don't get mad
I
at me.
know, but I was trying to forget that.
I was laughing.
But that's the reason why they said they need 48 months. It was because of that Jaron Ennis that we saw last night.
So is it safe to say? Is it safe to say? Is it safe to say we passed 48 months now?
Oh, past 48 months. They probably gonna say we need another 48 months. We just now getting acclimated to 54.
You know what, D3? I think when they say, they said forget that. We ain't fighting Joe. We going on. When we not fighting them.
Now, I mean, granted, Virgil Ortiz made easy work with Magnavoff. We saw Bud Crawford struggle with Magnavoff.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna say he struggled, but he didn't look like himself with Magnavoff. And the funny thing is, everybody gave Bud a pass when he didn't look like himself with Magnavoff. He's moving up to the weight class, and this guy's a very durable guy. He'll give everybody trouble. Similar to what a lot of people were saying about Kern, but everybody was like, "Oh, Kern ain't nobody." I'm like, "Dog, Kern probably give a lot of people problems." He's a undefeated fighter. Well, he only had one loss when Boots fought him the first time. Granted, he had two losses because Boots gave him one of the two losses. So he had two losses when Boots fought him the second time. But what people fail to realize is prior to him fighting Boots that first time and fighting Boots the second time, he had 3 fights in between there. The man was 21-1 when he fought Boots the first time. When he fought Boots the second time, nobody paid attention that man was 24-2. The man had 3 fights in between there. Boots had 1 fight in between Kern and Kern. He had 1 fight with David Avenesian. Kern had 3 fights. I was looking at the box record yesterday because what's your face wanted me to look at the box record. When he fought Kern the first time, Kern was 21-1. When he fought Kern the second time, Kern was 24-2.
Damn. Well, so much for a great record, huh? So much for a great record. Yeah. I'm glad that Boots didn't let them trick him out his spot, his position. Um, I'm still sitting here not baffled, but just saying like, damn, we didn't think that Stanionis would just be in the corner and his trainer just be like, up, that's it. That's it. That's it. I'm not letting you go back out there. You have had enough. It's pretty damn impressive. Pretty
I mean,
damn impressive.
I said that. I
Pretty
said
damn impressive.
I didn't see anything that Stanionis possessed that Boots would have to be worried about. Stanionis pretty much was a come forward fighter who had a good jab. Stanionis has a good jab. His jab was pretty much non and void last night. We didn't see much of it. I mean, he did catch Boots a couple of times when he was able to throw it. But other than that, you didn't see much of it. But Stanionis,
You know what my concern was? My concern was I don't know
yeah,
why.
that's another thing too. That's another thing too. I'm glad Thomas mentioned that.
Well, no, I mentioned that, Thomas. I mentioned that earlier before D Free got on. I said he was about to be a father. And I said I don't want to discredit Boots for the win, but I said Stanionis went in there last night with a lot on his mind. But that still doesn't take away from got his ass whipped. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean?
and the corner stopped the fight because they were like, you don't want to look at your baby the first time and you looking worse than your baby looking coming out newborn. So
you know what? You ain't shit free. I'm gonna go on to say what I'm gonna say. You ain't shit.
You land in the bed, you land on a gurney beside your wife. Both of y'all holding the baby in y'all lap instead of you picking up your baby.
You know what? Underrated. I'm just gonna ignore him.
I'm just saying. If that fight would have continued, that man was going to the hospital.
Yeah, D Free stupid.
That man
Thomas
hit that man with 4 body shots that dropped him. He hit him with 4.
And it was 4 straight body shots.
When he hit him with that last body shot, I was like, yeah, But the thing I was concerned was this, right? Before the bell even rung, I said, if Stanionis focus is going to be trying to time Boots, is he going to try to time him? You know what I'm saying? Because when fighters try to time you or when you throw punches and how you move, I said, will he be able to time Boots? And even though he caught Boots what he caught him with, Boots never slowed down. Let me tell you, Boots enjoyed himself. He almost looked like a damn young Roy Jones. All the shit he was doing, he looked good last night.
And see, a lot of people say, "Oh, Boots got hit too much. Boots been getting hit too much in the last couple of fights." I say, if y'all pay attention, I notice a lot of things when I'm watching these fights, and I pay attention to the earlier rounds, how it progressed to the mid rounds, and then how that progressed to the later round. If you pay attention, Jaron Ennis is on point early in the fight.
Yeah.
At some point, he feels the power from his opponent, and he puts in his mind, this dude don't have nothing on his punches. He gives him about 3 or 4 rounds because at the beginning of the fight is where you're going to be your strongest. He gives them about 3 or 4 rounds and say, hold up, this dude don't have nothing on his punches. Man, yeah. I'm about to walk this dude down. I'm about to really take it. And that's what he does.
As soon as the bell rang and he came out with the jab, and I said, "Oh, here we go." I said, "Here we go."
He knew that everybody talked about Stanionis' jab, and Stanionis got a good jab or whatever. And he said, "I'm gonna keep this dude on the outside." Once he felt the power, he said, "I don't care. We can mix it up. You wanna bang? Okay, I'm gonna bang with you." And we saw they was going blow for blow at one point. I mean, of course, Boots had the quicker hand. So when Stanionis threw 1, Boots threw 3. When Stanionis threw 2, Boots threw 5. So it was, but they was going blow for blow at one point, and Jaron was catching him with some hellified uppercuts to the body.
Which round was it? The 4th round, 5th round, maybe, where Boots started to light his ass up, and I was convinced.
It was the 5th round when he busted his nose. He caught him with
uppercut. I was convinced, Free. I was convinced, Free. I said, "Oh, he might just stop Stanionis." I was just convinced for a couple minutes. I was like, "Nah, he about to stop him."
Once it got to the 5th round, I said, Boots is gonna stop this dude. Because we calling the fight. I had my phone on mute, and I'm sitting here watching Dub right side is calling the fight, and I'm sitting here looking at it, I'm like, Boots is about to stop this dude. I see it because I see the body work that he's doing, and Stanionis didn't like it. And he caught Stanionis with an uppercut to the body, and Stanionis kind of winced and took a couple steps back. And then I was like, oh, yeah, he's about to stop this dude. I don't know what round it's going to be, but he's not going to make it 12 rounds. And
yeah, I'm like, he ain't going to make it.
The round, I think it was the 5th round, when he caught Stanionis with a vicious uppercut that busted his nose open. I said, yeah, this is getting nasty. He's starting to really dig into his bag now.
I paid attention to Stanionis' face, and when he started to swell up a little bit, and I saw the blood, and then I was like, yeah, this is going to go bad for him in some ways. But I said, Boost, don't lose focus, because when Boost started to clown a little bit, I was like, all right, Boost, it's all right to have fun in there, but just stay focused, because, you know, you still got a man that's dangerous in front of you. No matter how much he's bleeding, it always takes that one punch that can change the whole fight.
Like,
but shit, didn't matter.
We were talking about after the fight was over. We were talking about the Brian Norman, and so the right side and B3.
Yeah, y'all was clowning last night. I was watching y'all.
And crushing them. They was up there. They was like, so this a pay-per-view card? I'm like, no, this ain't no damn pay-per-view card. So everybody say, yeah, it probably do somewhere about like Crush didn't say nothing. Crush was last. I went right before Crush. So B3 said something like 200, 250. I think their right side said 200, 250. Daggone B3 said like 150, and Pride said like 175, 200. I said, man, y'all tripping. I said this joint will be lucky if they do 75. I said it's gonna be somewhere around 75,000. They were like 75,000. And Crush said, yeah, I wasn't gonna say as low. He said, but yeah, I see somewhere between 75 and 90,000. I said, dog, y'all got to remember, these guys are relatively unknown. Yeah, we know who these guys are, but we're talking about the casuals. Those are the ones that buy the pay-per-view. A lot of the diehards go to the fights, but the casuals are the ones that mainly buy the pay-per-view. So when we're talking about who's going to buy this fight, no, I'm Vicky was in the car with me while I was working. She had to work yesterday, and then she went to my job. So I'm like, dog, I got my wife sitting here right beside me. She hear me talk about boxing every day. She don't know who Jaron Ennis or Brian Norman is. And they was like, what? I was like, she don't know who these guys are. And I talk about boxing every day. She don't know these guys. So you talking about guys like Brian Norman has never headlined. Yeah, he's known in Atlanta because that's where he lives at. Of course, they're going to know who he is. And some people still might not know who he is. But for the most part, the people in Atlanta, yeah, they're going to know who he is because he's from Atlanta. Of course, he's going to be doing his little promo out in Atlanta. He's going to be walking around. People going to be saying what's up to him and this and that. But everywhere else, he's relatively unknown. He's never headlined a card. And he just became a champion. People didn't know who he was. Brian Norman made his name by sparring Tank Davis. That's where most people know Brian Norman from. When he did that daggone interview and he talked about he sparred Tank Davis. That's when people started paying attention to Brian Norman. Prior to that, nobody knew who Brian Norman was. Nobody knew him.
Catch you guys.
And like I said, Jaron Ennis is relatively unknown.
That's yours.
All right, Thomas. And Jaron Ennis is relatively unknown. So I'm like, dog, I said, to be honest, this is not a pay-per-view card. I said, if they do pay-per-view, it's only going to do like 75,000. It's not going to do much more than that. And it will be lucky if they do 75,000. We're talking about David Benavidez and Boo Boo Andrade, who both of those guys have bigger names than Jaron Ennis and Brian Norman. They only did 35,000 pay-per-view. They only did 35,000. And both of those guys' names was connected to Canelo. People knew those guys because they've been calling out Canelo. So they only did 35,000. They got
no radio today? Okay, Thomas, cool.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So he's like, I'm like, dog. I'm like, these guys, this is not a pay per view fight. I understand y'all wanna try to promote it as a pay per view. They're like, what? This is a dog. It's
You
not a
can't
pay per
listen.
view fight.
I don't know what these dudes be going on sometime over there where you be at, but it's like y'all got to do your homework more. You got to. Everybody seem like they be so quick to just talk, 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 and you got to understand some of the stuff y'all say be crazy and it's documented, and it don't make any sense.
Now
But hey,
I don't even think it's just the guys on our platform.
no,
I
we
think
talking about
it's you.
period.
Yeah, I think it's YouTube wide. I think these guys are not being realistic. Everybody think because you know them that, oh yeah, both these guys are champion. This is a pay per view fight.
But they
No,
don't
it's
know
not.
anything, free. They don't know
No, it's
shit. These
not.
people just be talking, and it's like y'all don't know what y'all talking about, man. Y'all ain't in the business. You ain't never been in the business. You just fans of these fighters, and that's it. That's it. Because if you understood the bit like me, I understand part of the business. So I don't have all the answers. But that's the reason why I go to either different channels or I be in these gyms actually talking to people who's in the business so I could get a clear understanding. Because some things I don't understand. But if you tell me something and you have receipts on what you're telling me, I should understand it. I can't take two
Yeah.
fighters and just feel like because I'm fans of them and I go, yo, this should have been pay per view. How is this not pay per view? Free, you gonna tell me that this is not pay per view? Free? Are you kidding me? Free? You ain't no boxing fan. Free? How you gonna tell me that this fight ain't a pay per view? Free? But like, what the hell are y'all be talking about?
Yeah, this ain't no like people gotta be realistic when they talk about the money. See, like you said, most people don't know the business of boxing. They know about the fighters and the fights and that's that. And they
That's
can
it.
break that. They can
That's it.
break down a fight, but when it comes to the business of boxing, most people don't know the business of boxing
And they're not
because
trying to learn, and that's what makes the sport of boxing so
that that
uncomfortable today because a lot of people are just walking in or trying to convince you how long they've been fans of the sport, but you're not understanding it and you're not trying to take the time and you're not talking to nobody, but you're assuming or you read a post that somebody put up. You convince yourself that that post they put up is true and everything they're saying is true. Why would they put it up? And then you want to come to the show and argue about that post. And
yeah.
you like,
So
I don't give a damn what the post say. I'm telling you by box rec or whatever that this is what's going on and this is what's next. And you still trying to argue with me about a fucking post you saw. Make that make
Yeah.
sense.
yeah, I mean, yeah, like Thomas said, it's okay to not know the business of boxing because you're not a promoter, you're not a manager, you're not supposed to know. Now, if you was in that capacity, then yeah, you're supposed to know because that's what you do as a job. But
Which
you're not in that field, so you're not
what's
supposed to
not
know.
cool
But
What's
but the
not
thing
cool
is,
is to what's not cool is to act like you know and then argue with somebody who's bringing receipts to you and still telling that person you're crazy, you're free, you're crazy, you're
yeah,
insane. If you think that free, something's wrong with you. How?
like people think YouTube is the entire world. They think everything that's on YouTube that's the world that we live in. No, that's the world we live in by what we watch on a regular basis. But that's not the world that we live in. We don't live on YouTube. We live in the real
No,
world. We just be on YouTube. But the thing is, you gotta pay attention. And this is how you know they not that big of a star. This is how you know, like I said, they're not that big of a star.
no.
Jaron Ennis has headlined one, two, three, two cards, two cards.
Uh,
He's headlined now three. He's headlined three cards. Two of them
yeah.
was in two of them was in Philly. The other one was in Atlantic City, which
When
is
he fought Villa,
which
when he fought Villa, what was the dude Villa? Where did he fight Villa at?
that wasn't a headline. That wasn't a headline.
It wasn't a headline, right?
No, that was an
That was on
undercard.
somebody else's card, right?
Yeah, that was that. He was still with Showtime at the time. That was
Yeah,
an
yeah, yeah, I
undercard.
remember that. I'm
Yeah,
just making sure because I don't want to
yeah,
make it seem like yeah, okay.
yeah. He only headline. He's only headlined since he's been with Eddie Hearn. That's the only time he's headlined. He has the David Avanesian, he
Yes.
has the Kern, and now the Stanionis. Two of them was in Philly.
And I'm sure he'll be back again this year. My
No,
brother will be
but
back
look,
again.
look what I'm saying. Look what I'm saying. Two of them was in Philly. The other one was in
Yeah.
Atlantic City, which is 45 minutes away from Philly. It's 45 minutes away from Philly. So relatively in his hometown. It's in his backyard. So they're doing that because he's not known like that. They're trying to build up his fan base, build up his name, build up his brand so they can sell him as a pay-per-view star. That's what they're trying
Yeah.
to do with him. They're trying to build him up so they can sell him as a pay-per-view star because right now he's not a pay-per-view attraction right now. He's not big enough to be put on pay-per-view. So they're trying to build him up to be able to be put on pay-per-view. So when they do put him on, he by himself can do relatively somewhere around 150, 200,000 by himself. Now, the other person that he's fighting, they're going to have to bring something to the table, which makes it a success as a pay-per-view card. It's going to make it a success. So that's what they're trying to do.
This is so hard for these guys to understand.
Brian Norman hasn't done that yet. He hasn't even headlined the card yet. So we don't know what Brian. Not like Keyshawn, we know what Keyshawn brings if he fight in Norfolk, Virginia. We know he's going to bring relatively 10,000 people.
Be careful with that, Free. You know, you got these fanboys out here. What you mean?
I don't care
what you
the
mean.
fanboys. If y'all want to debate, we're not going to debate on my man Clarence channel. You can come over come over to BBO, or you can come over to D Free Sports Talk, or you come over to Thomas.
I don't think the place matters. I don't think the place matters where they debate because the outcome is going to be the same. I mean, why embarrass yourself in front of the YouTube community? You're gonna lose.
Yeah, I'm just saying,
you're gonna lose.
Like you can't tell me
you can't bring no facts when you don't know the business.
How many seats can Brian Norman sell? Can anybody actually tell me how many seats Brian Norman is going to sell? The answer to that is no. The answer to that is no.
No, I can't tell you. I'll be lying if I told you I could. I'll be lying.
For two reasons. The answer is no for two reasons. One, he's never headlined a card. And two, he's never headlined in his own city.
And that's sad. That's sad.
You don't know what he brings. So you can't say that, oh, Brian Norman deserved this, he deserved that. How? How does he do it? What proof that shows that he deserved what you're saying he deserved? What proof? The only thing we know that he does deserve anything from 450,000 and more. That's what he does deserve. His minimum is 450,000. That's what he just made in his last fight. That's his minimum. Now, anything more than that is a bonus because he's never headlined a card. Never headline a card. So anything more than 450,000 is a bonus. So we know the minimum that he deserves is 450,000. That's the minimum because that's what he just did in his last card, his last fight. He did 450,000.
Thomas, what's up, my good brother?
What's going on, Thomas?
What's going on, guys?
What's up, brother Thomas?
See, if Thomas was promoting like he's supposed to, we wouldn't have all these damn issues. Thank you, Thomas.
What's going on, guys? I got some time to. There's no radio this morning, so I was like, usually I'm on now on the radio.
And I'm glad to have you up here, my good brother. I'm glad to have you up here. Yeah. We was just discussing how these dudes got to start understanding the business of boxing before they so quick to get into a debate. Because if somebody's bringing receipts to the table, you should understand that and go, you know what? Let me stop commenting on stuff that I don't know about. Let me understand the business of boxing. But these dudes are not trying to understand. They're just fans of guys for whatever reason, and they don't know anything. And like you said in the comments, it's okay if you don't understand, but stop trying to act like you do. And you're not about to argue with me 3 hours on YouTube to try to make me look bad when you really making yourself look bad.
Yeah, it's bad. And I referred to this a little bit on Friday on our show. You know, where these fans, these delusional fans, they're not fans of the sport. They're fans of fighters, and that's okay. I think it's okay to be fans of fighters, you know, and to have your favorites. you know. But if you're a supporter of the sport and you're a fan of boxing, I think you need to call it down the middle as best as possible. You know, I think it's okay to root for another guy over a guy, you know, and maybe be a little bit biased, but
Yeah.
the lies and just like the extremeness of these fans is ridiculous. You know, for example, I brought up the Tank fans. You know, Tank fans, it's crazy how they go about and you know and they lie and then they go after other channels because other channels go and say something negative about their favorite fighter. I think it's wrong, and it's just you know I think channels now, these channels that you see now, they're clout chasing the bigger channels, you know, to try to get more notoriety, you know, and I think the difference in what, let's say, those fans or those defenders. I mean, there's got to be another name for it, you know, you know, they call it the tankaholics, you know, or whatever the case, but I'll say the defenders, you know, because they defend their man or their fighter to any limit. And then you have guys like my man PVO, who does kind of sort of same thing, but he's doing it in a fun way, and where you don't really have to take him seriously until you get to his live and it explains his thought process. But these guys, they don't explain their thought process. They go into it like, no, you're lying, you don't know shit about boxing, you know. And I think it's just like it's killing this the YouTube, you know, the YouTube content creators, and it's like everybody's coming on YouTube, TikTok, or Instagram and says, I can do this too, and I can make videos and I can make money and stuff like that, and they're doing it for all the wrong reasons, and they're looking really stupid out here, really stupid. But you know, it's not just them; it's the guys that follow these guys that makes it worse. That believe them in the chat and support these guys is what's really making it worse, because they like the conflict. They like the you know, dare I say, you know, Drew Titan says a lot, the Jerry Springerness, right? You know, they love that, you know, and it's getting boring and old already. You know what I'm saying? And the subliminal comments being made towards other channels like you, or towards me, and towards D Free or BVO and stuff, it's getting old and crazy, you know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, Clarence, I've seen you out at fights. I've seen you out, you know, promoting the amateurs. I see you out, you know, doing your thing. You know, D Free's always on channels and debating and putting his mindset out there. You know, Undercover Brother, Undercover Darkness, you out there, you doing, you know, you have your lives and you do your shows and you're talking about real shit. But these guys probably never ever been to like a boxing event. And it's like you're talking about boxing, you say, you know, this and this and that, but you guys don't go to events. You guys don't even have fighters on your platform, you know, and it's just getting old and ridiculous, man.
But you know, but go more on your point on Brother Tom is that Brother D Free and Clarence, why I don't do boxing all that much, Holly, because I find out, go more on your point, right? It could be like, I mean, we could just go talk about Tank Davis. They take a point from Tank Davis, right? That is not true. We're gonna talk about on the next channel. And you'll talk about that shit for 12 fucking hours. You come to find out it ain't true. No, don't want to be accountable of nothing. I said, all you need to do, just to do your homework. Oh, Tank Davis did not knock out the Jesus 2019. I said, how you gonna tell me that? They said, I said, how you gonna tell me? I lost two favorite members in 2019. I seen the fight. He did knock out the Jesus. What is you talking about? You know, I said, just check it out yourself. How you? Oh, yeah, you right. So where's we doing here? I mean, really, where's we doing here? And then, like what y'all was doing, you know, y'all stating facts. No, y'all ain't stating facts. Y'all don't know what you're talking about. So what you doing? Then you're so clips. So I'm trying to find out here. Y'all showing because I want to know, are you blind? I know are you blind or something? What's going on? What are we doing here? So this is what I'm saying, that there are some people. If you don't know what a real content creator is, and I'm talking about boxing, if y'all don't know what boxing is, just watch the fight. Shut up. Just watch it and shut up.
Yeah.
Or just report what just happened. Report the results. Say this and this happened, but don't come up with these narratives or these these excuses or and stuff like that. Like it's getting old. It's getting crazy. Or go against somebody because your guy won, and then somebody feels like that he was robbed, and they make a video about like, oh, I feel like such and such won, and then you want to attack them like, oh, this guy don't know what he's talking about. Like, why? What's the point? What do you get out of that?
Right.
And that's why I never allowed. This is why I never allowed debating. Right. Let me explain why I never allowed it and why debate bothers me. And it's not about who wins, and it's not about who loses. Because we're going to agree to disagree, but facts is facts. When you bring in the receipts to the table and somebody clearly looks at you and tells you, Thomas, man, you don't know what the fuck you talking about. You stupid. You ain't a boxing fan. And then we get off the subject of boxing and it goes somewhere else. And we've seen that. My thing is, facts are facts. We could agree to disagree, but let's not get it off boxing where we insult each other. The cursing starts.
It's
because
crazy.
I invited you to my show. Mm-hmm. I'm not on the show. You know why? Because you don't even have a platform. So don't dare disrespect me. If I open the doors to my home and I allow you in, because our platforms are our home. If I allow you in my home, don't do that. Don't disrespect me, because you don't have to be there. A lot of these clowns try to make names for themselves by coming on our platforms and thinking that they're going to disrespect us. And that can't happen. So when people go, yo, I don't ever see no debating going on. I said, dog, I don't do it, not because I don't know anything, because I can have y'all come on here debate and I can sit back and shut up and just listen. But it's the disrespect. If we're not going to keep it boxing, and you got to call D Free out his name, or you have to call Underrated out his name, or you, Thomas, I'm not going to sit here and watch somebody do that to y'all. I won't watch y'all do it to each other. So I'm not going to have no outsiders doing that. We got to keep it respectful. And that's another reason why I'd be like, you know what? Not over here, because it's just crazy. These dudes don't do what we do. They don't do what we do. It's different. It's different, man. We really do this because we love it.
Yeah.
We love this. And we outside. We actually making moves. We're not going to sit here and have somebody talking down to us that only got 2 fucking subscribers on their shit.
You know what's crazy is that, I do this for fun. It's a hobby, and to help promote any fighters that come on. I want to promote them so they can make as much money as they can, or get enough people to watch their fights, or etc. Like a Keith Cologne, we have a lot, on our platform. That's what I do it for that. And then if I have any sources, which I have a few, and they give me some news, I'm going to report it. You know how many people got at me because I said Jaleel Hackett faked an injury? And they was like, oh, you don't know what you're talking about, whatever. And then I was trying to explain to them about the first fight with Roman, and it was close, and they said a robbery, but it was a close fight. It wasn't a robbery. It could have went either way. I scored it a draw, right? So these guys, no, he clearly won. The bottom line was that I was saying is that he struggled to make weight in that first fight, and he didn't look as good as he should have looked, because a healthy, fit Jaleel Hackett beats Roman, and I like Roman. And my friend, a good friend, manages Roman, so I have a little bit of bias. But at the end of the day, a healthy, fit Jaleel beats him. And people were upset that I said he ducked Roman in the second fight. And you know what? I took the duck back because I was like, all right, it's unfair of me to say that. But now I'm going to say he did, because he was not in shape to face that man. And he was struggling to make weight a second time, and he pulled out the fight with that fake injury, which I stand on it, fake injury, because he didn't want to have another bad performance. Therefore, it's a duck, bro. It's a duck. And what happened a few weeks later? He announced that he was going to 154. Now, why is he going to 154? Because he struggled and couldn't make 147. It was killing his body. Then on top of that, because he posted that on Twitter, I went and I found out through somebody else that knows somebody in Matchroom, the manager of Roman, and they said, yeah, it's legit. We're going to find you another opponent because he's going to move up to 154. So I present the news. I was the first one to announce that the fight was canceled, and people were saying that I don't know what I'm talking about. But fast forward to what really happened. So that's just one example. And I didn't get no apologies or anybody say, "Yo, you was right, Tom. Yo, you was right."
Well, I did.
No. I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about the people that hated. You didn't hate. You had an opinion, and you said this is what you felt. You didn't hate. I'm talking about the people that said I didn't know what I was talking about.
Right.
As soon as Thomas put that post up, I said, "Well, you definitely called it." I was like, you definitely called it. That's literally what I was the first one to respond to it because he put it up. I was like, "Well,
The problem is,
definitely called it."
people. The problem is, Free, is people hate to be wrong and don't want to admit it. Because, like my wife said, you can't be wrong and strong. They just can't admit, yo, I messed up. Y'all was right. So they got to call you crazy. They got to call you stupid. You don't know shit about boxing, and you bugging out. This is it's crazy, man. It's crazy. These dudes are the worst.
Like I said, I wanna see how these people going back to what we was talking about with the whole Jaron Ennis and Brian Norman. I want to see how these dudes is going to react because they clearly say, okay, y'all said. I mean, we saw Brian Norman Sr. come out and say, "Oh, that was Reggie. That was Reggie. He don't really want no smoke or whatever." And I'm like, that was Reggie. We have never seen nobody do this to Staniois, but you said that was Reggie. And like I said, granted, Staniois only had 15 fights. But the one thing that everybody kept telling me, like I said, Thomas was there, he heard it. Everybody kept telling me, "Oh, well, Staniois, he's proven he fought Barate, and Barate is better than anybody that Jaron has fought on his resume." And I'm like, what? What are y'all talking about? Y'all do realize some of the guys that Jaron has fought, Bud Crawford fought the same guys. And y'all was telling us that Bud Crawford fought quality individuals. Some of y'all, not all of them, some of them was the ones that told us that Bud Crawford has fought quality individuals. And like I said, I told them that night, it was Friday night, I told them, I said, "Dog, this sounds eerie similar to the daggone Bud Crawford and Earl Spence." Earl Spence had a great resume, and Bud Crawford hasn't fought anybody. And then we seen how that played out. And now we're talking about Jaron Ennis hasn't fought anybody and how good Stanionis' resume is. I said, it seems eerie similar. And they were like, "Oh, afraid," but the problem is Jaron really hasn't fought anybody. I'm like, all right, I'm just saying, I'm not saying it's the same thing. I'm just saying it's similar.
It is similar.
And we see how it played out. Jaron Ennis went out there and put belt to ass on Stanionis. He put belt to ass on that dude. So I'm just saying, it almost played out the same way. It almost played out the same way. The only difference is Stanionis was stopped. I mean, Stanionis' corner stopped the fight. Earl Spence, he got stopped in the middle of him fighting, and he didn't want to stop. The referee stopped it. That was the only difference. One quit, the other one wanted to continue, but the referee wouldn't let it go on. That was the only difference. So, I mean, both of them got beat up in the fight. Both of them got beat up. Like, and I heard other people calling the fight. Everybody was giving their assessment of the fight, how many rounds they thought Stanionis won. To be honest, there was only maybe one round that you could have possibly gave Stanionis. It was only one round that you could have possibly. I heard somebody say, it was in the fifth round. Somebody said, "I got it 3-2 Jaron Ennis."
That's crazy.
No, I think it was the fourth. It might have been the fourth round. Well, and even in that fourth round, I want to say it's the fourth round where Stanionis looked good, but the last like 20, 30 seconds, Boots.
That's when Boots closed it out.
Yeah, I think that was that, and that was that's what turned around, and maybe you could have gave that to Boots or Stanionis, but Stanionis, that was his best round. I don't know if it was the third or fourth. I think it was the fourth.
I think it was the fourth round, Thomas.
Yeah.
And as I said, there was only one round that you could have possibly gave Stanionis. Jaron Ennis looked like the old Jaron Ennis that made Virgil Ortiz's team said we need 48 months. That's what he looked like. he looks like that Jaron Ennis. What's going on, Pops?
Boots had fun last night. That was the good. To see him have the fun he was having, he enjoyed himself, man, and he did it in fashion, man.
I still think Boots. I think Stanionis was still tailor made for him, and I think I said that too. I still think Stanionis has a good jab, but he didn't use it as much, which was weird because when he used that like stiff jab, he caught Boots' attention. I think he gave him a shiner. I think Boots' right eye was a little bit, it looked a little black and blue, but he didn't throw it as much. And then he landed some good hooks, which is, what happened in the last fight against Karen. He was getting hit by some hooks too. So, I thought Stanionis did the best he could. I wish he would have threw the jab a little bit more. It might have maybe been a little bit different, but Boots was just, I think he was just tailor-made for him. Boots was going to the body and he broke him down.
Like I said when this fight was first announced, I said Stanionis is tailor-made for Jaron Ennis. Mm-hmm. If Jaron Ennis fight his style of fighting, Stanionis is tailor-made. The only difference between Villa and Stanionis is Stanionis has a jab. That's the only difference. He has a jab. Villa didn't have a jab. Villa was just all power. Didn't have no jab. Stanionis actually has a jab. He's not that big of a puncher. He's more of a break you down type fighter, and eventually he stops you because he breaks you down. But Villa is more he's more brute power. He will hit you with one shot and hurt you. Stanionis is not that type of puncher. And
that's another thing. I said that Stanionis' power was overrated. I was telling people, I said that Friday night too. I said I don't think Stanionis' power is as good as what people say it is. I think his power is very underrated. And then I brought up a common opponent. He went 10 or 12 with Delorme. Boots got him out of there in one round. And then the Maestri fight, I thought Maestri, I don't think anything good of Maestri. I don't think he's good. And I thought he should have got him out of there too, and he didn't. He went the full 12, I think. So, and I was like, his power is just not as good as what people say it is. I think his jab is good. I like his jab, but he didn't throw it enough last night either. So, and that was another thing why I said ninth round. I said ninth round stoppage for Boots, and I said most likely I could see the corner stopping it. So I was off by 2 rounds. So what they count? They counted for the 6th or 7th round.
It was the end of the 6th. So
they counted towards the 6th.
Yeah, it counted towards the 6th because they never run the bell for the 7th round. So
okay,
6.
And I think that's a good point that brother Thomas was talking about, because that's what I was thinking about Stanionis. He didn't use his jab that much because at certain times Stanionis was just like a punching bag. He was just like a punching bag. I say, well, I feel like, come on, he throw the jab. He jabbed and he throw the jab. He was just a punching bag because he felt. I guess the Bruce Ennis had discouraged him so much that he didn't want to throw the jab. But
when Boots hit him and he dropped, I was like, it's a matter of time. This is gonna be it for you. And I'm glad, like I said earlier, that 6th round was it for him, because if he came out for that 7th round, Boots was going to stop his ass. He was going to stop him.
And see, now, like I said, now he doesn't have to worry about the IBF 10-pound rehydration clause, because now he is a unified champion. And being though that he has a nutritionist, it might be easier for him to make 47. Now, he's still eventually going to need to move up. I give him roughly another year. Next year at this time, he's probably going to be at 54. He's probably not going to be there much longer than that, because if he doesn't get both these guys in the ring by next year at this time, if he hasn't had both these guys in the ring, he might as well move up to 54. He's not going to get those guys in the ring, because it will be a whole year that he's been out of the ring. Or, well, I ain't going to say a whole year he'd be out of the ring, because, well, it might be a whole year that he's been out of the ring, because if neither one of these guys get in the ring with him, it will be a whole year that he'd be out of the ring, because I don't think he doesn't have an IBF mandatory right now, because he just fought him and Kern a couple of months ago, so he doesn't have to worry about that. The WBA, he doesn't have to worry about that because Staniois just defended that title for the WBA mandatory, so he doesn't have to worry about that. So right now, and then he will be the WBA super because he doesn't have to worry about mandatory at all because he will be the WBA super because Rolly and Ryan is fighting for the WBA regular, so he's going to be the WBA super.
And neither one of them could beat him, so it's like, sheesh.
So he won't have to fight a mandatory. So anybody that he will fight, he's going after the champions. He doesn't have any mandatories that he has to worry about. So he's going after the champions. Now, if these champions don't want to get in the ring, I can see him probably trying to get a big money fight. Probably somebody
we talked about tailor-made, right? Fighters being tailor-made. I want Thomas to answer first, you free, and then underrated. I said it earlier, so just in case Thomas didn't hear it. Say if he is at 54, what does a fight with Jaron Bruce Ennis and Tim Tszyu looks like?
Oh, that's a good one because I honestly don't think Boots should go to 154, especially with those bigger guys that throw better hooks and more powerful hooks than the hooks that he's got hitting with. You know what I'm saying? But Tszyu, I think Tszyu's power is good, but not as good as a lot of other guys. You know, I think he kind of breaks you down, Tszyu. So I think that's a 50-50 fight. I got to see Tszyu fight one more time. You know, the Fundora fight was a bad luck fight for him. You know, and then the fight after that, he kind of rushed into that fight against an unknown. I don't know much about that Russian, and he got annihilated. So I think it's a competitive fight, and I think we'll know more if Tszyu and Thurman happen.
Yeah,
right. Which they're saying it may happen, and which Thurman said it was going to happen in the interview he did with Mancuso. We'll find out because I could see Thurman beating Tszyu, and then you could forget about that one. So right now, I would say that's a 50-50 fight.
Yeah, I'm gonna say this. We gotta go based off what we saw last from Jaron Ennis, and Jaron Ennis looked like the Jaron Ennis we used to see it. If he fights that style, and he be himself, the only person I'm worried about for Jaron Ennis at 54 is Baknaram. That's the only person. The one that knocked Tim Tszyu out. That's the only person. I think he can beat Tim Tszyu easy. I think the Jaron Ennis that we saw last night, I think he could beat Tim Tszyu easy. The Jaron Ennis that I saw last night, I think he outclassed and possibly stopped Fundora with body work.
Damn, free. That's a tall order, though.
Virgil Ortiz, I think he stops Virgil Ortiz. I think Baknaram is the only one I'm worried about because that dude has godly-like power. Dog, that dude is ridiculous. Dog, the power that I seen him hit Tim Tszyu, because I seen Tim Tszyu get hit with clean shots, and it didn't look like it bothered him. Tim Tszyu got hit with one shot, and Tim Tszyu looked like a child asking his mother, can he go outside tomorrow? That man looked like... Am I in here with a 54-pounder or a light heavyweight? This dude, when the referee stopped the fight, that man looked at the referee like, wait, man, what took you so long? You saw the ass whooping that I was taking. Why you just now coming? You should have been came in this daggone ring. You was standing right there when that nigga knocked me from this side to that side.
Oh Lord Jesus.
No, but I think Boots can beat everybody. I ain't gonna say everybody. I think he has the potential, the skill set to beat everybody at that weight class. The only one that I'm worried about is Baknaram. I got to see him again because that was the first time I ever seen him, and that nigga put on a performance that I'm like, dog, I'm scared for everybody at 54 with that dude. Like, I didn't expect him to do that. I thought Tim Tszyu was going to beat this dude and move on to fight the rematch with Sebastian Fundora. I was sadly mistaken with that one.
We all were. And that ended a little earlier than we was expecting. Nobody was expecting that to end in no third round. I'm sitting here like, what fight is we watching? Like, what the hell just
I
happened?
mean, Conwell, I gotta see more from Charles Conwell. He's a good guy, but I mean, you gotta put him up to the you gotta grade him by the level of opponents that he's faced.
I forgot about Charles Conwell.
Um,
Damn.
he seemed like he's somebody that you might have to worry about at 54, but I need to see more of him. I only saw him one time, so I need to see more of him. The same thing, like I said with Baccarat. Baccarat, I need to see more of him. See if that's what I saw. What he did to Simzu is really what he is. I need to see more of Conwell the same way because I only saw one fight of him. He seemed like he's a good fighter. He might be a problem, but the level of opponent that he was in there with, he according to this everything that I heard from people telling me about Conwell, he was supposed to beat that guy. So I gotta see more of him. But I don't fear for Jaron Ennis going up to 54. I think he'll do well if he fights his style of fighting. If he fights his style of fighting, I think he'll do well at 54. Um, but this is all. We only going off assumptions. We only going off based on what we believe will happen. Anything could change when they get in the ring.
Yeah, ready. Go ahead.
I said that for 154 it should be no problem for Bruce Ennis. And I feel in due time he would be a champion. And that's all I'm gonna say about that.
Yeah, going back to what Thomas was saying, yeah, there, it's there's always levels, and when you get the higher weight classes, that the punches are always different. I think my man will do well up there, but it might be a few concerns. Um, Me, Sebastian Fedora, just seeing that fight would be bananas. But if he was to stop Sebastian, forget it, get it.
Mhm.
It's not that Sebastian can't be beat, but that's a tall order, man. See, because a lot of people thought after Brian Mendoza beat him that, oh yeah, Brian Mendoza did it, I can do it too. We see how that went for a lot of people. That plan didn't go well. But far as 47, like Free said, these two guys that's left, and correct me if I'm wrong, if there's anybody else, Brian Norman and Mario Barrios. Because let's just be honest with you, all these other guys at 47 we keep talking about, yo, Devin's there now, and Ryan's there, and Broly's there. Man, you know damn well y'all ain't about to put none of them dudes in the ring with no damn boots. That's a homicide.
And let me say, and you notice that lately the ones who come to 147, you ain't never hear them talk about they want to fight Bruce Ennis. They talk about everybody else except Bruce
Um,
Ennis. And that's what I came and said, Bruce who?
but, but you know what? I can't say I'll tell you this. I can't say I guarantee this, but I'm gonna tell you this. All of them that just came to 47, and I might be wrong, because if you struggle to make weight, then you have to move on. I can't see too many of them going to 54. I can't see Ryan saying, "Hey, I'm gonna go to 54." I'm going to 54. Devin, I'm going to 54. I mean, saying it and doing it is two damn different things. Knowing that if you go that way, what awaits for you? It's much different at 54. Much different. Just T.O. going talking about he wanted to move up for Boots. We already know what that is. We even know what that is already. But we ain't gonna see that because that just be a lot of cap. But congratulations to Boots. And another thing too, right? Now, how many people after seeing what they saw is gonna jump out there and say, "Hey, give me Stanionis." Now that we seen that this guy's beatable, give me him. How many you think Free is gonna jump out there and go, "Hey, give me Stanionis"? Because when they see you lose, now all of a sudden everybody think they can whoop your ass. How many people is gonna call for Stanionis style?
Um, I don't know because I don't know if anybody was ducking Stanionis. But I mean, because you got to think about it. To be honest with you, outside of the top guys at 47 and the new guys that's coming up to 47, the only other people that we know that's at 47 are the prospects. There ain't really too many other people we know at 47.
Yeah.
That's
Exactly.
why 147 is the weakest I've seen it in so long.
Yeah.
Usually 147 is usually the premier division next to heavyweight division. Like 147 welterweight was where it's at, but now it's not. The only guy I really like, and I think he's a little bit too green, is Rohan Polanco. I think Rohan Polanco could be a player, but he's not just yet. I don't see anybody else at 147. Unless these guys moving up, you got supposedly Ryan Garcia may move up. I mean, he's fighting 144, so technically he's 147. You got Haney. Technically, he's at 147 now because he's fighting 144. So, but other than that, I mean, who else? I'm trying to think of names at 147, but Rohan Polanco comes to mind, but he's not ready.
He's not ready yet.
Yeah, it's quiet.
Not yet. Yeah.
So as of right now, it's quiet. And what I don't want to do is have to see Jaron not get back in the ring until next year, or for him to stay busy, because you always have to have a stay busy fight. Now he gets a guy that we never heard of, and this happens all the time, gentlemen. Now you get a guy he never heard of because the two guys that he should be fighting are not accepting the fight for whatever reason, or one guy's not accepting it. Now he gets in the ring with somebody we never heard of. Now everybody's taking a shot at him like it's his fault. Yeah. These guys can't sit around and wait for that miracle fight to happen. You got to stay busy. My thing is, who's going to step up? Will Brian Norman Jr. step up?
I like the guy that fought last night. I think he's a worthy challenger. I think he's good work. I don't know if he's going to beat any of the top guys or beat one of the champions, but Giyasov, the guy from Uzbekistan or whatever, I think he lives in Brooklyn. I think he fought last night. He had a stoppage last night with the body punch to Ocampo. I think he's a solid contender or a solid opponent. I mean, I don't consider him like trash. I think he's good. He's undefeated. I think he'll probably get a title shot. I wonder, if he fights a guy like Barrios, he could beat Barrios. So that's one guy.
I would love to see Barrios in boots, though. Not saying taking anything away from Brian Norman. If that don't happen, because the money that they was offered, if they like, hey, give us $2 million, and now we're not giving you $2 million. Now it's like, well, no $2 million, we don't fight. Does Barrios get that same offer, or would the offer be better than Brian Norman? Free.
It's definitely going to be better than Brian Norman. Like I said earlier, they can't go to Mario Barrio the same way they go to Brian Norman. Mario Barrio has been in headlines and on pay-per-view fights, so they gotta come with a respectable offer for Mario Barrio. Brian Norman is a different situation. He never headlined.
But does at some point, just to show how great he's trying to be, does Barrios, even though him being through what he's been through, say, I'll take that, what you offered him, just to prove a point?
Who? Oh, is Mario say that?
Yeah, does he say that? Or does he say, hell no, man? I did 2 pay-per-views. I'm not taking that shit. You know what I mean? Or does he say, you know what, just to prove I want to be great and I want to fight Boots, what you offered, Brian, I'll take it. I'll take it this one time. Does he do that? Or does he get, hell no, you got to give me something better than that?
I don't think he would say that about Brian Norman. I mean, about the offer that was sent to Brian Norman, because you want to see what's the offer they ask you. You want to see what the offer they come with you. We know they're going to Brian Norman because with a 1.7, because Brian Norman has never headlined. Now, if they come with something smaller than what they came with Brian Norman, you're like, hold up, I did more than what Brian Norman has ever done. You got to give me, at the minimum, you got to start with Brian Norman number into that. At the very minimum, you got to start where his number ended. So, because I've headlined with Tank Davis, I headlined with Keith Thurman. I was on 2 pay-per-view cards as the headline. So you got to, at the very minimum, you got to start where he ended at. So you can't come to me with anything less than 1.7. To be honest with you, you can't come to me with anything less than what you gave Stanionis, because Stanionis has never headlined a pay-per-view card. He was the co-main event. No, he was on the undercard of a pay-per-view, but he's never headlined a pay-per-view card. So whatever you gave Stanionis, you got to give me either that or more.
I want to go back and ask y'all a throwback question since we are talking about offers. Who had headlined a pay-per-view before the other one? Was it Sean Porter or Crawford? I'm gonna let you know where I'm going with this.
Say that again.
Who was on pay-per-view first? Sean Porter or Terrence Crawford? Crawford.
He was on.
Crawford.
He was.
Yeah.
Before Porter, you sure?
Before.
Oh no, you know what? I think you're right, because those fights
before.
were free. They put those fights on free TV, right? Because Porter and Thurman was on Channel 5, I think it was.
Did you agree with the argument?
No, because I was going to say, remember that fight with Amir Khan was a pay-per-view fight.
Yeah, you're right. I was thinking.
So did you agree? Did y'all agree with Sean Porter's argument against the team argument when I think he was offered $1 million for the fight and people were saying that was a low blow? Yeah. How did y'all feel about that?
Yes, because you got to remember what they did. You got to see what they did, and this is why I have broken down from when they did, because they gave Amir Khan 7.5. They offered Danny Garcia $3 million. They offered Sean Porter $1 million.
Mm-hmm.
Danny Garcia stopped Amir Khan before Bud Crawford did.
Yes.
Sean Porter beat Danny Garcia. So each guy that got beat, the guy that won got the smaller offer. So Amir Khan got 7.5 or 5.5, something like that. I forgot which one it was. He got the higher offer than what Danny Garcia got, and Danny Garcia knocked him out. Then Sean Porter got the smaller offer of what they gave Danny Garcia, and Sean Porter beat Danny Garcia. So yes, Sean Porter was definitely in his right because he beat Danny Garcia, and Danny Garcia was in his right because he knocked out Amir Khan.
Yeah.
What makes these fighters think that they can come with, or their team can come with offers like that? What makes them even think that? Because to me, sometimes it's a slap in the face. What makes them think that you're going to just accept that kind of deal? Like, I don't get that.
You know what's crazy about that, D-Free, is that that's part of that lawsuit that's going on against Todd DeBuff and Top Rank, that they had that guy negotiating and giving all this extra money to all these guys overseas, and Amir Khan and Crawford is part of that lawsuit. that the guy wants a few million for Khan, for that fight.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
It's gotten to that now?
Yeah, it's a big lawsuit with Top Rank.
Yeah, I know about that lawsuit. I never knew why the lawsuit was taking place, but Jesus Christ. Oh
yeah,
man.
It was because the guy, what is it? One of the guys that works with Top Rank, I forgot what it was, that he was he was helping negotiate the fights. He was promised a certain amount of money and he never got it. So that's why he's kind of suing these guys, throwing himself, under the bus too. You know what I'm saying? That they didn't pay him, letting everyone know that Todd DeBuff and Top Rank were doing deals with Kinahan.
One man said, "This is bigger that's crazy."
That could be part of the reason why ESPN said they wasn't renewing the contract, because they probably got wind of all of these lawsuits that's coming out.
We can't do business with y'all. Yeah,
because when you file a lawsuit, that's public knowledge. So when they file a lawsuit, lawyers are going to reach out to that company and the company that does business with them. They're going to reach out to them to find out if there's any other lawsuit that needs to be handed to them as well. They want to try to
Or is it any other? Is there any other dirty business going on? You know what I mean? Because
yeah,
they'll start putting stuff on you that you ain't got nothing to do with. But if you're affiliated with somebody, they want to start checking you to make sure you ain't got nothing to do with it. It's like, wait a minute, we work over here. Even though we affiliated with them, we work over here. We ain't got nothing to do with what they doing. But that's how it is. Guilty
because
by association.
you got to remember, the ESPN is the network that was paying Top Rank, so the money is coming from ESPN. So when you have a lawsuit about money, they're gonna go to where the money is coming from. They wanna try to get everybody that's involved in it. So they're gonna go back and track all of the money. So who it starts from where the money is coming from. Okay, was there any wrongdoing on their end from where the money was coming from? If it wasn't no wrongdoing from them, then they're gonna go to the next level. Once they find out where the money, where the lawsuit, I mean where the problem starts at, that's who's getting the lawsuit. So they gotta backtrack everything. They gotta do their investigation and find out where all of this stuff comes. So that, like I said, ESPN probably got word about this whole lawsuit, the Daniel Cunningham and all that stuff. And they said, you know what? Nah, we're not renewing this contract. We're gonna go elsewhere and cut ties because y'all got too many things going on over there. We ain't trying to be caught up in it.
Yeah, I think that's definitely one of the reasons. So
That's
but hey,
sad. It's sad that it's like that, but it is what it is.
hey, Top Rank is going to do business with PBC. So maybe Brian Norman and Barrios. That's an easier fight to make now.
Yeah.
Hey, I didn't think of that. Ennis, I didn't think of that.
Yeah.
Hey.
That's another thing that they mentioned it when they Brian Seniors mentioned it when he was on our channel Thursday. He mentioned, I mean, not Thursday, Wednesday. He mentioned it when he was on our channel Wednesday. If anybody want to go back and watch it, you can go back and watch it. But he said they already put it out there that they want that fight. They don't know if Mario Barrio is going to be willing to get in a ring with them. Basically, what they're trying to say is they don't think Mario Barrio is going to take the offer because of what Brian Norman just did to the guy that he just fought. But I'm like, why would Mario Barrio not want to get in the ring and unify the belts if he believes he can beat you? Like I said, he's been in there with Keith Thurman. He's been in there with Tank Davis. I mean, most people would think, I mean, a prime Keith Thurman, they don't think that Brian Norman beats a prime Keith Thurman. Now, I mean, hey, it remains to be seen if Brian Norman can beat the Keith Thurman that's available now. We just saw what Keith Thurman did after coming off a 2-year layoff. So
yeah,
it remains to be seen what Keith Thurman can, what Brian Norman can do with Keith Thurman now. So I mean, but I don't see, the thing is, I'm trying to figure out how Brian Norman sending an offer to Mario Barrio when he's not the A side in the situation. He's not the A side of Mario Barrio. Mario Barrio is a bigger name than Brian Norman. He's been in there with Tank Davis. He's been in there with Keith Thurman.
He got a bigger name, much bigger name.
He's headline cards. He's the A side to Brian Norman. Right now, Brian Norman is the B side to everybody. Well, now not Staniois anymore, but prior to Staniois losing, Brian Norman was the B side to all of the champions. He was the B side to all of those guys. He's never headlined. Each one of these guys, I mean, except for Staniois, I don't know if Staniois headlined the card or not. I'm not sure. I'm not 100% sure if Staniois did or not.
Yes,
but
that's a good question.
But Mario Barrio has, and Jaron Boost Ennis has headline a card. Those guys headline the cards, and Stanionis' name is bigger than Brian Norman's. So he's an A side of Brian Norman. So right now, I don't know if Brian Norman is sending an offer to Mario Barrio. I think it would be the other way around. I think Mario Barrio will be the one sending an offer because he's the A side in the situation.
Well, I tell you what, Free. It's hard to tell a man what he can and can't do. But until y'all make something happen, all this going on shows and saying all this and tweets
And
don't
that's
add up.
another thing too. That's another thing too. Y'all remember Brian Norman works for Top Rank. He's a fighter on Top Rank. And we heard what Bob said. These guys don't send offer. I send the offer. So Brian ain't sending anything. It's going to be Bob.
Try telling that to the people who want to come up and argue with you. Try telling them that because they convinced that the fighter is sending the offer. Well, I'm telling you, Free, that man sent the offer. No, man, that man promoter sent it. What is you talking about?
The only time that I say a fighter sends the offer outside of Devin Haney is just about any fighter that's on PBC. Because they're the guys that's promoted by themselves. Now they might use Tom Brown Promotions for the fight, but they don't have an actual promoter. Everybody that's on PBC, they don't have an actual promoter. Tom Brown, if they don't have their own promotional company, PBC hires Tom Brown to promote the fight. They don't have an actual promoter. So everybody else that's with Eddie Hearn, with Golden Boy, with Queensbury, those guys with Top Rank, those guys promoters sends the offer. The fighters don't even know what the offer is going to be sent. We heard Jaron Ennis. I didn't even know that they was trying to find a fight for me. They don't even know what offer is going to be sent. The promoter come up with the numbers that they come up with, and they say, okay, this is the offer we're going to send. The fighters 9 times out of 10 don't even know what the offer is. They know what money they are getting, but most of the time they don't know what the offer is unless they're on PBC.
Yeah, that part. So we had this week happen. What's coming up for this week?
This week we do got to fight this week.
Yeah, who we got this week, man?
We do got to fight this week. Hold up, because this is the 20. I think this is the fight.
Kano Loco TV. Everybody, make sure they go subscribe to my brother Kano, man. He a little on the crazy side, but he's a true boxing man. Y'all make sure y'all go subscribe, man.
What's going on, Kano?
Kano Loco.
Yo, Kano, I'm coming to Florida for one of those pro box events. I'm coming.
We got your boy.
My boy.
Is that this weekend? No, that's next weekend. That's next week. No, this weekend we got your girl fighting this weekend. Gabrielle Friendora's fighting this weekend.
Ah, my girl Gabrielle. That's right. She's fighting Friday or Saturday.
She's fighting Saturday.
Saturday, yeah. You know, Kovalev is still fighting.
Yeah, Kovalev. I'm looking at it now. Kovalev is fighting. He fights some dude named Maine.
Kovalev who?
Oh, we were just talking about that. Charles Conwell is fighting this weekend on the undercard of Gabrielle Friendora.
Yeah.
Okay, so we got a lot. So we got a lot to get into this week then. Oh yeah, we got some.
Your boy. I mean, we won't be able to see it because it's on Sky Sports. But your boy Ben Whitaker is fighting.
You ain't coming to Florida.
You said I'm not coming to Florida. Kano, I've been to Florida already twice already. Knock it off. I'm coming, man. It's just gonna take some time, man. Right now, the way these flights are set up and how these planes are acting up in the air, yeah, I might have to find another way to get there.
But next Saturday is the fight that I was thinking about. Conor Ben versus Eubanks next Saturday. Not this Saturday, but next Saturday.
Oh yeah,
I gotta see that. You know what? I'm gonna take some time to think about that one, man. I'm gonna see though. You ain't been to my stomping grounds. No, I haven't been to where you at yet, where you're from, Kano. But I'm gonna get out there. Give me some time. I'm gonna get out there.
Hey,
just be nice to me.
Y'all know Josh Padley fighting this weekend? The one that just fought. Just fought Dagon Shakur. He's fighting this weekend.
That's good. That's how it's supposed to be. Staying active.
No, it's not. That's not how it's supposed to be. The nigga just got stopped. He's supposed to be suspended.
Well, you know, Hey, he ain't from here, so you know they get it different over there where he from. He should be suspended, but
Who's
you
he
know
fighting? A
he
ham
ain't
and
from
egger?
over here.
He's fighting a ham and egger.
Who's he even fighting? They probably
No,
gonna give him a soft touch. They
don't,
gonna give
don't
him a
even
soft touch, Steve.
don't even let me try to say this dude's name. Now, this dude name is Appleback.
I don't know what the hell that. Yeah, I don't know.
No,
That's
this name.
that's a different kind of name.
I'm gonna spell his name. His name is spelled.
Yeah, it's supposed to be 60 days. I don't even think it's been 60. How long has it been since Shakur fought that dude? It ain't been 60 days.
No, it's been like a month. Been like a month.
Y'all, man, and they got him back in the ring. But you know where they from is different. Because you know if he's from over here, his ass, even in the amateurs, he got to sit out for a while.
It's been like a month since he fought before. That was like last month. That was March. That was March. Shakur fought in March.
Guy's undefeated.
As a matter of fact, it hasn't even been a whole month. It was like probably like 3 weeks, maybe a little.
It's all good. So we'll be talking about Charles Conwell, Gabrielle. So I got something I'm gonna do tomorrow night. Now I know tomorrow night free. Usually you and BBO somebody will go live, but tomorrow we doing Monday night. We doing Monday Night Wars tomorrow. WWE versus WCW Monday Night Wars. We doing that tomorrow, 8 p.m.
The WWE already lost. You ain't gotta do it. They already lost.
Don't do that. I'm trying to do this like that. I'm trying to. No, don't do that, man. Don't do that. Jesus
Hey,
Christ.
I was a big wrestling fan back when WCW and WWE were at that time it was the WWF and WCW.
Don't do that. Don't do that, free. Come through tomorrow. What's the noise? I don't know. What is the noise? Who's that coming from? Is that you, free?
That's Thomas. He's driving on the daggone train track.
Yeah, because I was trying to figure out what was that noise too. I said I didn't know. But we doing that tomorrow night.
That nigga Thomas got his phone out the window like this while he ride down the street. He just hold his phone.
I ain't messing with y'all. Yo, we'll be back tomorrow. We'll be back tomorrow morning for the morning chop ups. Y'all know me, and then I'll be back tomorrow night, 8 p.m. I'm gonna get up out of here. I appreciate all y'all. Everybody, please subscribe to all my brothers that's on here. TD Sports Talk. My man D Free. My man, the number one grinder, the underrated ones. You know, Connor Loco down there.
Hold up, before you go, Connor Loco, we're going to the Super Bowl this year, dog. We're going to the Super Bowl.
Why are you starting with him?
No, Connor Loco is a Washington Commander fan. We're going to the Super Bowl this year.
Yo, Connor, they're gonna jump you in Florida, man. That was the wrong answer.
Connor Loco is a Washington Commander fan. We're going to the Super Bowl this year.
He gonna cry in the car. Hey, he gonna cry in the car. He gonna cry in the car. Nah, love y'all, man. Catch y'all later, man. See y'all tomorrow. Peace.
I'll reach out to you later on.
All right.